Hello and welcome to Garden Priya channel. I hope you are all doing well and enjoying the summer. The vegetable plants and the fruit trees that I showed you in my spring videos have all grown well, and thankfully many of them have produced fruits and vegetables. Of course, not everything made it. Some of the fruits were completely wiped out by squirrels, but fortunately some managed to survive and produce a harvest. So today I thought I would show you what my garden has produced so far this summer, starting with the vegetables, then the fruits, and finally some special visitors to the garden. Let's start with the potatoes. There are two potato varieties that I showed you in the spring video, dark red Norland and Agata. This is what they have produced. I picked them up within 90 days, actually in 70 days. I had also some russet potatoes that started to rot in my kitchen, and rather than throwing away, I planted them, and this is the harvest I got. Let's look at garlic now. I had planted few elephant garlic and German red garlic. The yield this time was just so, probably because we had a particularly severe winter. And this is the yield. My bush beans are doing well. I grew them from seeds in different places in my vegetable garden. They have been producing steadily, and I am still harvesting small amounts every week. I also grew spinach from seeds and got good harvest from them. As for tomatoes, I planted 3 varieties. Unfortunately, only one of them, Heatmaster, produced any fruit, and I have been harvesting tomatoes from it regularly. The other varieties actually grew well and produced plenty of flowers, but when our temperatures went above 95 degrees, some of them succumbed to fungal diseases. Some are still looking good, so let us see if they can produce any tomatoes. If you know of any heat and humidity tolerant slicing tomato varieties, please let me know in the comments. And this is like one of the harvests that I got. I am also growing Roselle or Gongura leaves, which I have been harvesting regularly. Now let us move to eggplants. I planted 3 varieties, Florida Market, and 2 Asian varieties. This is the variety called Shyamala, and that is the variety called the Bride. All the 3 have been producing very well, and I have been harvesting eggplants for a few weeks now. Let's look at more vegetables in a future video. Now let's move from the vegetables to the fruits. The fruit harvest has been a bit of a mixed bag this year. Some fruits did very well. Some were a struggle, and in a few cases the squirrels seemed to think that the harvest belonged to them. At one point, there were hundreds of peaches in this peach tree, but the squirrels had a feast and most of them disappeared. I was eventually left with only just 7 peaches. At that point, I decided I was going to protect them. I put 3 layers of protection around them. and I was able to save all the 7 peaches. The first layer of protection was the organza bag, and then the brown bag, and then the grocery bag. I picked the peaches a little early, but they were still quite crisp and sweet to eat. The pawpaws have been much more encouraging. So far, I have lost only 1 fruit, and the others have been producing a few at a time. I've been watching them develop and ripen, and I wanted to share some of them with you. Some of them are overripe, some of them are a little bit raw still, but they ripen in the house. And some of them are large in size, and some of them are small in size. This is how a pawpaw looks when cut and you eat with a spoon. The grapes have given me a large harvest again. But the garden isn't only about what I can harvest. One of the things I enjoy most about having a garden is watching the wildlife that comes to visit. And one of my favorite visitors is the hummingbird. Near my vegetable patch, I have a patch of purple anise sage, and hummingbirds regularly visit those flowers. I even managed to get a picture of one visiting. I also noticed that hummingbirds in summer were visiting my butterfly bush. What was interesting was that there were plenty of monardas blooming nearby, but the hummingbirds seemed to completely ignore them. That made me curious, so I decided to try a little experiment. I placed a monarda in a pot on a table near my kitchen window and provided a hummingbird feeder nearby. The feeder did attract hummingbirds, and I started watching what they would do. And they were so much fun to watch. Monardas are supposed to be hummingbird friendly plants, but somehow the birds didn't come to it. And then something interesting happened. Since I was able to watch from my kitchen window, I saw that the hummingbirds were coming to visit my monarda. You can see that happening. There was one more thing I noticed from this little experiment. I noticed that flowers that were at a good height were much more likely to get the hummingbird's attention, while some of the shorter plants nearby were being completely overlooked. So next summer, I plan to grow some Kufia, Agastaki, and other hummingbird-friendly plants in hanging baskets, so they will be at a height where the hummingbirds can easily notice them. So this summer, the garden has given me much more than just a harvest. That is one of the things I love about gardening. You may start with a plan, but the garden always has a few surprises of its own. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little summer tour of my garden. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.